Today we are going to discuss about the business process management. As you know, modeling any of the business process in order to make it more effective for any of the project is essentially required. So when you're talking about business process management, so there are some modeling processes which we need to perform with. So for that, there are a lot of tools normally we use, like something like Appian is one kind of business process management tool. Is widely used across industries for mobile applications, all that. At the same time, there is a tool called Pega, even a BPM tool, which is used widely. And there are a couple of even open source and trial versions are available online, so like Bonito Soft, Camunda, all that. Right? So that whatever I'm explaining you, how to prepare a business process management tool and how to create a project in today's session, wherein I'm going to explain you the whole stuff relating to this, right? So what exactly this business process management, how it looks like. At the same time, how to create a project, how to create in reference to the console, what is that we have created, how to how to create a project, all that I'm going to show you in this video. Now, in this is a tool which I'm using called Camunda. This is a tool which is used for business process management, one of the tool prominent ones apart from the remaining one. So where I'm just going to create a project here. Here you can see there is an option called new project. Click on new project here, where it will be asking us two different things, right? So do you want to choose a business process management templates on its own, or do you want to create a new file as separate, right? So if you want to create a new file for a business process management diagrams, where we can select an option called diagram. So here we can create a process here, right? So business process management diagrams can be prepared here, wherein if you want to test any kind of process, all that stuff here you can see. So here this diagram you have to name it. I'm just naming it as cloud-based POS system, right? So what is this cloud-based POS system? I'll explain. So cloud-based point of sale system means it's a point of sale system which is used for billing purposes. When you want to perform any kind of billing in any of the retail store, so there is a point of sale system will be there. So where a billing person will enter all the details of the products what customer has taken. Finally, billing will be performed. So that's what point of sale system in brief. What is that I am explaining you is cloud based, means you don't require any infrastructure as separate, because any retail store owner, if they want to maintain this POS systems and all, they need to have the infrastructure as separate. So if it's a cloud-based POS system, they don't require all that. So what they need is they need only an system along with an internet connection, so that they can connect to the cloud environment, and this POS application can be used from there. So that they don't require to maintain any infrastructure, no data management, nothing. Everything will be looking after by the cloud provider. Whoever the cloud provider, they will be taking care of everything. So in view of that, this cloud-based point of sale system is what I'm developing here. So this cloud-based POS system, if you see, for that business process related stuff is what I'm covering here. Now here are the options where you can see. Do remember, this is the kind of video which is exclusively useful for the people who are new to this BPM related one, right? So whoever wants to know about this BPM and all everything, so this is majorly useful for them, for the new beginners. So first of all, you must be knowing about what are the options do we have, all that stuff, right? So these are the different options which are available for us. So for different reasons, all these options will be used, right? So for example, so few options will be used for creating of task. Few options will be used to create any kind of sub processes, all that. At the same time, if you want to create any kind of data storage and all, there are options available for us. At the same time, any data object references and all everything will be used for some other reason, right? So different things are there. Now I'm going to create an sample diagram where you will be knowing about the flow, right? So here you will be knowing about the flow here. So now what is that I'm doing is I'm just creating a task first. Create a task, right? So we have to create a task here where the task is billing. Okay, so this is what the task I'm doing. Now billing is a task which has to be performed by a person whom we call it as a person who will be sitting on the store. That person will do the billing, right? So those are the one who is going to create this, who is going to do all that billing stuff, all that. Now if they wants to create any kind of billing, there is some created data storage where this data storage will be located here, right? So data storage will be located, uh, it's a cloud storage, okay, because it's a cloud based point of sale system. It's a cloud storage where whatever the related information in reference to the data of this thing and all, everything will be stored in the cloud storage itself. So there will be a cloud storage which is a separate usually, right? So it is a separate one. Cloud storage option is there. Next, billing is what people will be performed here. Now at the same time, if you want to activate any kind of tools and all everything, so this is where generally it is been connecting with. But make sure if you want to perform this billing and if you want to create any kind of billing and all everything here, billing person will bill all the products, right? So this is what it is, right? So billing person will bill all the products. This is what generally the uh, comment which was written here, right? So this is where you can see, right? So here you can see, right? Billing person will bill all the products. This is what the comment I have written here. Now cloud storage where this is being connecting with point of sale system, right? So point of sale system is what we need to connect with. So point of sale system is a repository where you are storing all cloud related informations and all everything. We are doing it. So if you want to create any kind of uh, billing and all everything, if you want to create any kind of billings, all that. So wherein we have to create a gateway where in this gateway we need to create a POS system. Cloud POS system is what we have created. As an example, I'm just showing you. Here you can write down, right? So if you want, you can write down here, right? So this is what generally cloud POS system was. So cloud POS system where billing thing will be performed. But make sure when you talk about the dependencies here, so when you see the dependency or else when you want to connect anything of this sort, here is an option where it will be stored whatever the information do we have and all everything. So that information can be stored in the cloud storage, right? So that is what generally happens here, right? So we can create and we can we can store all this information in the cloud storage itself. At the same time, there is one more thing which normally we need to understand in reference to this itself is concerned when you want to create any kind of uh, things and all everything. So if you want to have, so there must be an inventory management system which is required. Inventory management system. Inventory management system is required. So unless until if you are not connecting to inventory management system, you cannot access the information from that, right? So this is required. So if you want to store any information here, this cloud based point of sale system must be connecting with inventory management system. So this inventory management system have all the products, whatever the classification of products and all everything will be stored in this. So from here, whatever the accessing of the application, accessing of the inventory and all everything will be performed when we are doing a billing, all that stuff, right? So this is what generally happens here. But make sure whatever the information we are creating, all this will be stored in the cloud storage, right? So there will be a cloud storage as separate. So where all the information will be stored there accordingly. Usually that's how usually it happens, right? So cloud storage and all everything will be used here. So along with this, if they want to create any kind of sub processes, right? So for example, any sub process we want to create, right? So any sub processes we want to execute, all that. Here is a sub process which can be created. Of course, it depends on the need and it depends on the requirement. Any sub processes if somebody wants to create. So there is an option where we can create a sub process here, wherein sub process may be of report generations. For example, reports has to be generated. Right? So different reports can be generated, even not only billing, even reports can also be generated. So these reports may be anything. These reports may be sales reports, whatever we have created. It may be the reason. At the same time, even inventory management reports can also be created here accordingly, right? So there are options which are available here, right? So if you want to connect with these reports and all, make sure these reports we are accessing from the cloud-based PY system as separate, right? So cloud-based PY system, from there we need to access it, right? So if you want to access this, again, you are accessing this information from the cloud storage, all that stuff, right? So cloud PY system, whatever the reports do we want to access, everything can be accessed from there accordingly, right? So this is what generally an overall understanding about how this business process flows will be worked, and how are these business process flows and all everything will be used here. At the same time, if you want to deploy the diagram here, there is an option called deployment diagram, where we have to make sure we need to create a cluster as separate, right? So we need to create a new cluster for that. So whenever we are creating a new cluster, so that generally these deployments and all everything can be prepared. CPOS is a cluster, right? It's a trial package. Create a cluster here, and whatever the cluster we have created, where is this deployment diagram can be deployed here, right? So that's what generally it will take few minutes usually, right? So to create all that stuff, whenever it is get created, automatically we can deploy this diagram. Of course, it takes time to create a cluster, all that. So once the clusters and all everything is created, automatically this deployment of the diagram can be done here. So automatically this deployment of the diagram, whatever we have created so far, can be seen in this deployment diagram here as usual. So this is how generally this business process flows and all everything will be created for the activities, whatever, as well as the kind of projects, whatever are we working. Creating this business process flow diagrams and all everything are useful. So whatever the tools are we using may vary, right? So tools may not be the same all the time, because depends on the industry requirements, depends on the need of the company, particular person, company, or else people who wants to learn, self learners, or who wants to learn business process management or BPM process or BPM diagrams. And of course, there are a lot of open source tools are also available. Some are paid tools are there, licensed software. So at the same time, even open source tools and trial versions are also available nowadays online. But end of the day, how to prepare a business process flows and all, and how to create projects, how to deploy those diagrams, this is what a new learner, anybody wants to learn. This has nothing to do with uh, the tool what you are using, right? So it is nothing to do with tool, because whatever the tool are we using, almost preparation of the diagrams remains same everywhere, right? So you don't see much difference in it. But of course, this is my personal observation. because here you can see the cluster was created. It is healthy, where you can deploy the diagram here, right? So this is how generally this deployment of the diagram. You can see here diagram is deployed, right? That's what it was shown you. So if you want to share this information to anyone, or if you want to download this, here there is an option called download option, where you can export this as a PNG image. We can create, so right, you can see here, right? So there is a PNG image where this, for example, this is the image where if you want you can copy this, and whatever the documentations are we preparing, for example any business process related documents or some documents we are preparing, for example, right? So for example, this is a document, assume that as an example I'm just showing you. So if this is a document, where what we can do is that here we can simply copy and paste this diagram, so that this diagram can be used for our related whatever the training or whatever the work related stuff, everything can be prepared here accordingly. So this is how generally these diagrams and all everything on a high level note for a beginner level, which I was explained you. If you have any questions in regard to this, and if you'd like to know about more about this business process management related any kind of queries, or if you want any kind of training related support in reference to BPM, how to what even right from the introduction of business process management to the kind of diagrams how to prepare all that. So if you have any kind of this thing, any kind of training needs, you always have a choice where you can reach us to the contact details which will be posted below to this video. Thank you. Bye.